Boxer Gervonta Davis has been dropped. According to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, the Miami-Dade State's Attorney's Office dropped the charges after his ex-girlfriend said she would not prosecute Davis. The local state's attorney says her mother would also not cooperate with the prosecution.
And the Gervonta Tank Davis haters can't seem to catch a break. The Florida prosecutors declined to file former charges against Gervonta Davis in a DV case. Jigga Kelly not guilty. Young Hove. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. The Baltimore Banner has posted this, and Gervonta Davis has gotten off, right? Let me explain. We'll go through it together like one big happy family. The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office on Tuesday decided to not file former charges against WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis, who had been accused of his girlfriend on Father's Day when he went to pick up their two children. Prosecutors informed the circuit judge Elizabeth Espinoza Marin at what he was scheduled to be his arraignment that they would be taking no action with the case. His attorney, Susan, could not immediately be reached for comment. Gervonta Davis is 30, of Parkland, Florida, even though he's from Baltimore, but that's probably where he resides, had been charged with one count of battery. June 15th, Davis got into an argument with his ex-girlfriend, escalated, became physical. Doral police allege she asserted that he hit her in the back of the head, slapped her on the right side of the face, which then cut her lip. Miami police July 11th, like over a month after, arrested him. Law enforcement booked him into the correctional center, and he later posted a $10,000 bond. Prosecutors decided to drop the case after Lindsay Chase, an attorney who represents Davis's ex-girlfriend, reported that she was declining to prosecute. Public information said in the email, her mother also did not cooperate with the prosecution. Police, he said, did not observe the argument, quote, eliminating him as a possible witness to what had transpired. In recent years, Davis had run-ins with the law. He remains on probation from the 2020 incident, Baltimore, that injured 4 people. Davis grew up in West Baltimore, 30-0-1. Boom. So I know the Gervonta Davis haters are in right now, double hockey stick, because they were hoping and praying for this man's downfall, right? Now, I don't duck or dodge anything in the world of boxing. I talk about everything, right? So when this happened, of course, I made my content. I made a video about it. However, I don't enjoy making videos about professional athletes and potentially squandering away, losing your freedom, you know, dealing with this type of stuff. I mean, there's nothing cool about that. But the Gervonta Davis, the usual suspects, the haters, the Gervonta Davis, you know, the people who oppose him, the resistance, as I call it, old media, they actually rejoice in these type of things. And it's weird because some of these dudes pretend to be like street dudes, but what's street about that? Like, what is street about laughing at somebody, you know, going to jail or getting in trouble with 12? Like, that's not even a street dude. So like, the game in the streets is dead because there's no morals. You know what I mean? The people who try to represent the culture in the streets, they don't really have any, they don't have any code. And that's what the game is lacking. Back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, Tukey Williams, they actually had code. Like they were gangsters, but they still had code to what they did. Now the game is different. And I tell you all the time, there's a lot of low quality content in the world of boxing, and you see it every day. People, they were like, oh, da-da-da-da. They were talking about the Lamont Roach fight. They were saying Tank has separated from Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny, and he's mad at him. Coach Kenny and Calvin Ford, they had made comments that were ambiguous. People said they were talking about Tank. They came out and cleared the air and said this had, what we said we want to clarify, had zero to do with Tank. Nothing at all to do with Tank. But that did not stop the usual suspects in the resistance from lying on this man. They didn't talked about anything about Tank's personal life. People have said he has tax issues, and people have said he's retired. People have accused him of ducking the Lamont Roach fight. And your boy Ego, through it all, I kept it real. I kept it G. A lot of this extracurricular stuff is kind of a wait and see thing. So I didn't jump to conclusions about his ex-girlfriend and stuff. To be honest, from the outside looking in, I don't know their relationship. I know they got a kid together. And for me, it really just seems like they're toxic together. And some relationships can be like that. Like look at Krishan and Blueface, where it's like you get two people with certain personality types and they're together, but it don't really work. You know what I mean? It's a toxic scenario where it's two people aren't good for each other. And doesn't mean you're a bad person or this and that. It just means this person might not be right, because some people will bring the worst out of you. So again, as far as them arguing and stuff, I don't really care. I hope the kids are right and everybody's well-being is all right, but I don't know what happened. I don't care that's none of my real business, you know, but there's a lot of dudes, you know, and they was out here gossiping and insinuating. And here's the thing. There's a lot of people, like I said, a lot of low quality content in the world of boxing. You have people who act like they're in the know. They act like they were there. And, oh man, Tank did this before, and I know he did this to the girl. How you know? You wasn't even there. And like I said, there's elements of it that seem just to be a toxic relationship. I'm not going to put smut on a girl's name because I don't really know her. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there are like video evidence and photos of her putting like fecal matter on toothbrushes and making calls to 911 and accusing this and that. And then later come to find out it doesn't really go anywhere, you know? So people are going to speculate, oh, Tank paid her off and stuff. It's just, that's conjecture. You don't really know what went on. And at the end of the day, he got arrested and it went nowhere again. So to be honest, is looking like the boy who cried wolf, the girl who cried wolf, because every time this keep happening for Tank, it seems to be like this, oh, mugshot, he got arrested, then he posts bail, and then he like Tupac in the Cali, out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm here screaming, fiending for money and alcohol. Like, he always come out like Pac in California Love. You know what I mean? So it's like, and she never chooses to, it said the mama ain't cooperating. It said the girl ain't cooperating and refuses to press charges. So I don't know. Maybe sometimes in the heat of the moment, people do things or act irrational, and then they look at the greater good and the long term of it, and like, yeah, I don't want to see my BD locked up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what went on there or why the change of heart or whatever happened, but just know Gervonta Davis is off the hook yet again. And you guys was praying for his downfall. It is so funny to me because imagine being a Tank hater channel, right? And you put out all this negativity, and then you either have a choice. A, don't talk about news. And it's not like there's something else going on in boxing that is a huge storyline. So in a slow news week, you can either A, not talk about it, or B, come back to your audience and say, man, Tank beat the case and charges were dropped, da, 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 da. And this is after you put out all this like Tank smear campaigns and Tank going to jail and all this like fear mongering. I find it funny, and I'm happy my boy Tank has had the charges dropped, and we'll see what's next. You know, maybe it's a Lamont Roach. I'm thinking he might even fight Manny Pacquiao. I mean, to be honest, it's a bigger fight. And it's funny because I said that in a previous video. Most people got it, but there were the usual suspects that got mad. What do you mean? Lamont Roach is older. Bro, ain't nobody care about no Lamont Roach if you can fight Manny Pacquiao. I'm here to let you know that. I believe, like, you sound stupid if you think that anybody from the networks to the big venues to Tank Davis, if he has an opportunity to fight a legendary Hall of Famer, I don't know that this is the case. I'm saying if he has a legendary name that he could fight in Manny Pacquiao, who did make his comeback, to pass that up for Lamont Roach. And look at how Lamont Roach has been acting. You don't really kind of deserve the extra spotlight. So if Tank puts him on the back burner for a bigger fight, then so be it. Let me know what you guys think. Charges drop.